Hello, lovelies. Oh, hang on. My internet is going slow now. Hi, lovelies. Oh my goodness me, have I just had the time of it trying to get this technology to work. I've had 2 weeks of non-stop problems with technology. And I've just come to the conclusion that I'm not meant to deal with technology. That surely must be it. I think I'm meant to be, just hugging a tree and channeling the goddess. Or, floating in the Pleiades constellation, not working with gadgets and technology and videos and things like that. It's just really not my forte. So I did say on my other Facebook page that I would come into this group and I would answer a question that's quite a common question that I get asked. And I got asked yesterday because I'd posted a video on my page. And that was busting the myth of what abusers are after. People often say that they're after your light, when in actual fact they're after your dark. So if you haven't seen that video, it's on my personal profile. So please feel free to go to my normal page to have a look at that, or to my YouTube, which is at Luna Louisanna. So following that, people understandably, because I was speaking about how perpetrators of abuse are after your darkness and they want to keep you in a state of being overwhelmed by your darkness. And understandably, this triggered quite a few people and they felt quite vulnerable, because what it was really bringing to the surface was that anyone can be abused because everybody's got darkness. And that's quite a frightening truth about the world, the reality that, there's a lot of abusive people. And kind of this sense, particularly when you've had abuse in the past, which lots of people who watch my videos, will have done, then of course we don't want it to repeat. I mean, nobody wants to be abused anyway, but if you've been abused and you've had it in your past and you know just how horrific it is, you absolutely do not want that to repeat. You're very determined to protect yourself and to save yourself from going through that again. And I think that's really natural. And I also think it's very wise. And I think it's a very positive sign, because it's a sign of self-love and self-care. But what it can sometimes do is make us kind of back off from life a little bit and be constantly hypervigilant, looking for red flags. And all of that, again, is very, very natural, especially if you've had any kind of abuse, no matter how long ago it was, you're always going to have a little bit of that because you've been so badly hurt. What else would you do? How else could we expect you to behave? It's absolutely normal. It's healthier and better for us if we can be more willing to engage in life. And to do that, we do have to drop a little bit of the hypervigilance and the wanting to know all the signs and the warnings and the red flags and the, cross-examining everything that everybody says and does. Talking it through with your friends for hours, looking at checklists online, and keeping yourself stuck really in your head, and out of your body, feeling what your intuition is telling you in your body, because your body will tell you if somebody's abusive. You do get, a signal. Now, if you've got a lot of stuff, maybe from childhood or from your past, that might override your intuition, because there will be, essentially a hurt in a child that will override the intuition that something's not quite right with this person, because it will be so desperate for love. And that, again, is something very natural and understandable after any kind of abuse, that there will be parts of us that are so hurt and so frightened that they'll be looking for love. And again, that can be quite a vulnerable state to be in, but it's also very human. It's actually very beautiful, beautifully human. But we don't want that part of us to be running the show, because if that part of us is running the show, which is what happens if that part gets ignored and essentially gets pushed down into darkness, it becomes a hidden aspect of self and doesn't get the attention, doesn't get heard, doesn't get loved, then it's going to start recreating circumstances to get that attention. Now, this is not a criticism of anybody's inner child, and my inner child has been very skilled at doing this in the past, so this is how I know that that's what happens, because I've done it. And the thing is, I could do this video all about, the red flags and the warning signs. And I probably am going to do a post on my Facebook business page about, the early warning signs, because I know lots of them and I've heard them from people and I've seen them on other abuse forums and websites, and I've really nailed that, if I'm honest. Like, I know the early warning signs, so I probably will do a post just for people who have never seen that. But if you've been abused, you know what the warning signs are because you've been abused. You know what they were like. And one of the things that I think I'm also going to do a post on is something that doesn't get spoken about enough, in my opinion. And that is how you feel in the early stages of abuse. Because all the focus is always on, oh my God, but what about the perpetrator? What are they doing? What are they thinking? Can I trust this person? Can't I? And again, that's just the reaction really to, the perceived threat or the actual threat, depending on what's happening. But there's also warning signs within us, like the one I've just spoken about, where you're overriding your own intuition. That's a warning sign. Holding them in high regard no matter what they do. That's a warning sign. So I probably am going to do 2 separate posts about, what are the warning signs of what the perpetrator is doing and what are the early warning signs of what the victim is feeling and behaving like. And they will be very helpful to some people, I know. But really what I wanted to share was that, I think we have to get out of making everything about how do we fix it? Because ultimately we can't fix it. If there are people who want to abuse people, they will abuse people. They'll find people to abuse. And perpetrators don't want to change. They are not willing to face their pain, which is what it would take. It's what it takes for all of us to change. It's, you often hear this phrase, the only way out is through, and that's what it is. It's through the pain, through the inconvenience, through the mess. And these are people that are not willing to do that. They'd rather inflict more of that on other people. And so that's why, we see, one of the other things I shared on my Facebook page was that, in the UK, the Home Office has estimated that it spends £81 billion a year on fighting domestic abuse, and that will include advice and support and services. But that's a lot of money. There's still millions of perpetrators. There has to be. I mean, if you look at the stats just of, the crimes that are being recorded, and we know that that's only a tiny fraction of what's actually going on, there has to be loads of perpetrators. It's simple maths. There can't not be, because there's loads of victims. And so it is a fact that there are people in the world who want to abuse, and they do look for people to abuse. And I know that that's really, really frightening. It terrifies me. I don't want to be abused again. I've had enough of it. I've had decades of it. Very, very nearly killed me. More times than once, I've been taken to the brink of death by perpetrators of abuse that are abusing me over and over again. And when I left, I nearly died from the trauma. It was a very, very severe case, and that's what I was told by medical professionals. And I had to fight tooth and nail. And that's really where my highest light of all healing came in, because that's what I used on myself. To heal the trauma, to get it up and out of my system, get it away from me, back into the light, and bring more light of my soul in. So I really, really greatly empathize with the fear of, how do I prevent myself or my loved ones from being abused in the future? Well, I think you can do things to make yourself less susceptible to staying in abusive relationships. You can learn the warning signs, and you can work on yourself so that you are um, more likely to listen to your intuition and to act on it without questioning it. So that's something that you can do. But more than anything, the number one thing that empowers people to not continue, as soon as they sense that is abuse, this is heading into abuse, they're willing to leave. Now, I know we like to give people a chance. We're kind, we're empathetic, we're sensitive. Many of us are healers. So we don't want to be judgmental, right? Right, but thing is, it's not necessarily judgment. It could be your intuition. Sometimes judgment is just your intuition on warp speed. you know, got to get your attention really quick and get you to listen. We have to start trusting. If something's off, it's off. And I know if we've got trauma, sometimes that can be like a bit of a filter over things, and things aren't really off and we really think that they are. But I also think that that comes with a very special feeling. I've actually had it recently myself. I've had, for some reason, I've just seemed to have had an influx of men that are interested in me. And, I'm not ready for anything like that. Um, and I've panicked. And I did have a moment of, oh my God, they're going to stalk me. They're going to kill me, because that's what's happened in the past. They've stalked me and they've tried to kill me. So why wouldn't I think that? But I was able to sense that because it has like almost like a psychological thriller type lens over everything, The filter is, gone to the theatre to watch a horror movie. That's the filter. So I could tell that, this is actually my trauma speaking. It's not reality. It's not the truth. Yeah. I don't need to triple lock my door and hide. They're not coming to get me. So it's really about self-awareness and self-love. We need to know our patterns. We need to know what's driving us, what's creating the pull. That's another one, because there's all these TV shows, like, because I'm really romantic, right? So I absolutely love to watch, dating shows. My absolute favorite is The Bachelor. So I absolutely love it. But people talk constantly about, oh, it's not them because there's no chemistry. And I'm like, they don't seem to realize that chemistry is a red flag. Chemistry is when the two of you have got shit from a past life to work out. Chemistry is the alchemy of this is going to be a shit show. It's the preview. It's the preview, you know? And people think that it's this wonderful thing that means you're going to have great sex and so on and so forth. And it actually isn't. It's just a warning sign. So, yeah, we've got to, learn all those things within us, do what's needed to be done with those parts of us, which is always comes down to love. And if the concept of self-love is a bit icky or a bit overwhelming or frightening, or I don't even know where to begin, I've also been there. And it just begins with a very simple intention and a willingness to go on the journey to love yourself deeper. And don't worry, because love will take you on that journey. And so will your inner child. And they know what they're doing, so you'll be led. You will be led. And then speaking on a more of a practical level, because I know I've been a bit kind of jokey as well tonight, just to try and lighten the message, because of course it's a dark message to say there's lots of abusive people out there. On a more practical level, if you are able to, it's always wise to ensure that you have enough finances or enough financial independence, and that you keep that, because that can be a route out if something really suddenly goes wrong. It's worth knowing what your exit plans are if you're in an early relationship and you maybe go to theirs for the first time and things like that. It's just wise to think some of those things through in the early days. And another practical thing is, don't rush. It takes a long time to get to know somebody. Think about the friends that you've had for years, and think about a moment where it kind of clicked and you thought, oh, I get them now. Now I see you. Because I tell you, I bet it wasn't 10 weeks in, was it? It's probably more likely 10 years in. And so we have to slow things down, And the thing is, if this is your one true love and they're the one and all this, well, you've got all the time in the world then, haven't you? So slow the fuck down. Slow it down. And if you're ever in doubt, that's it. You revert to 2 speeds, dead slow and stop. And that's it. And if somebody is truly meant to be with you and it's really this great, healthy relationship and they're respectful, and they'll understand. You think about yourself. If somebody was really wanting to slow things down and you could tell they were frightened and they were explaining things to you that, they had abuse in their past, you'd slow it right down, wouldn't you? Right down. You'd just back off, actually, and let them have some say and some control in it, And so it's perfectly normal and okay to ask for things to be slower. And I think one thing I've seen and learnt over the years is, funny thing really, but people show their true character when they don't get their own way. And I don't mean when they've recovered from it and they may be saying some platitudes and everything happens for a reason and all these platitudes come out. No, I mean the absolute minute, seconds even, that they don't get their own way. You just watch. And that's when you know, really, whether this is a person that copes, doesn't cope, lashes out, doesn't lash out, takes responsibility, doesn't take responsibility, is considered and discerning in their responses. And I think I saw a meme actually. I saw this meme like ages ago, and I'm sorry because I can't remember which site it was on, but it was really funny. And it was like, a dating site, but it's like, the temperature of you have to take a picture of your thermostat at home. I think it's like your shopping basket. And I think it was something like, if something goes wrong with your computer, how they behave. It was something like that anyway, and it was really funny, this list, and it was just so true. And it was like, oh yeah, that's really like a compatibility test, but seriously, say no to this person. See what they do. And you can tell if somebody's pretending. So, because I know abusers are very sly, especially in the early days, very calculating. So, you might say no and they might put on an act of being, the most patient, calm, kind, considerate person. But you can tell. You can tell when they're secretly seething. So that's what to look out for. Secretly seething. So yeah, in short, can't avoid the fact that there's abusive people in the world. Can't avoid the fact that all humans are vulnerable because that's just our natural state of being. It's okay to be frightened. It's okay to even be terrified. It's okay to go slow. It's okay to work on things. It's okay to say, I'm not ready yet. Like I've just shared with you. Not ready yet. Not yet. Big old stop sign up. Not yet. Form an orderly queue. And then let me see what happens when you don't get your own way. Um, and yeah, open that journey of self-love if you haven't already. I'm not going to make any assumptions. You might be further down that path than I am, but it's really worth it because you won't try and talk yourself out of leaving when red flags start to show if you love yourself. If you love yourself more than you love them, if they do something out of alignment, you'll leave. No, and I'm not saying everything has to be black and white, but with abuse it does. So, in a normal, healthy relationship, if something goes wrong, we work through it consciously. But if it's a red flag of abuse, don't give them a second chance, leave. You've got to get out of there immediately. And don't look back. And treat them like the biggest threat, because they are. They can turn in an instant. And stats prove that they do. So, put them off as soon as you can. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this here. It, of course, is okay if you don't get this far. I just realised I've actually spoken for quite a bit. I only meant to do about 5 minutes. Oh, well, that's me. So I really hope this has helped, or at least given you some things to think about and maybe work on if you want to. Okay. So if you want to join the Facebook group that I've just done this live in, it's on Facebook. It's called Post Abuse Support for Women. So it's for women that have left abuse, and it can be at any stage. So you could have left it 50 years ago. But if you still feel like, you want to belong to a community that really understands that and gets that and is very gentle and very kind, quite a quiet space at the moment because it's a new group, then please, just come and join. You'll find it there. It is searchable. It's a private group and you can post anonymously in there. It's searchable, so just give us a search and ask to join. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Luna Anna, and my business Facebook page is at Luna Louise Anna. And you can also go to lunalouiseanna.com if you want to find out about how to book healing with me. There's all details on there. And I have got an online healing event coming up called It's Time, which is about getting all of this residue and all of these fears and doubts and insecurities and anxieties and things, getting them up out of your system, deleting all the neural pathways that belong to that and rewriting new ones, which I can do energetically for you in the healing, and then bringing in the light of your soul in its place. So that's very supportive, loving asset to have. Embodying more soul, you always feel more held through life's challenges, and your intuition will be better. That's a little bonus. Okay, so if any of those things interest you, please do come and find me on Facebook or on my website. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching and joining in. And if you've got any questions, any topics you want me to cover, please let me know, because I love to do these. And I've got so much more that I can give in terms of information about abuse. I mean, I've just got, like I say, decades of lived experience, more than a decade of experience healing women and working with women who have abuse in their past. And I'm also doing a course at the moment, so I'm learning all about national policy and strategy and legislation to do with domestic abuse as well. So I'm a good all-rounder. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.